Walsh's career or this documentary is that like it is so like it's like actively trying to create more mentally ill people. Okay, so not only is like this documentary insane, okay, not only is this documentary absolutely insane, it's been really funny to see Matt Walsh just complain about it stop, dude. He has been actively complaining about like one, not getting enough play out of Twitter.
Mouth wide open, mouth wide open, mouth wide open like I was at the dentist. Hey, it's Buds, it's Jamie. Welcome back to another video. First video on channel. I don't know, but welcome either way. I'm very glad to have you here. You're making a face at my intro.
No, I was like, ooh, it seems very quick. Ooh.
It's that I'm trying to emulate like one of those auctioneers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You want a cow? It's £5, £10, you know. Blah, blah, blah,
Jesus. Help!
This is Rolly.
Hello, what's the tip?
I mean, I'm sure most of you know Rolly, so thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. Just like Jesus Christ at Easter, I'm back, girls.
Yes.
Yeah. I love the fact that after all this time, there are still many things I say, and you're just like, okay, moving on.
No, I feel like there's some things you say, and then like the cogs go in my brain.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I just understood that.
Yeah. Oh, bless.
Yeah, bless me.
But hello, everyone. I'm back.
It's a lovely hiccup.
It is. No.
How'd you do that?
I don't know. You're just repulsed by everything. Everything makes you want to throw up.
I don't know why I'm here. I'm very confused.
Yeah, I try not to take over too much when I come on someone else's channel, especially when like our levels of things are very different.
No, I love it. You do you. This is the wonderful Rolly. If you don't know who Rolly is, then go check out his channel. Link is down below. But for now, stay here because we're looking at the right can't meme.
The right can't meme.
The right can't meme, and they really can't meme.
No, they're the meme themselves.
They are.
Memeception.
They've memed themselves.
They have.
That's why they can't make memes.
Yeah, exactly.
Very left-wing post of don't be your child's first bully. I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, just don't be an asshole.
Be
to
your child's
children.
second bully. Let the school kids do it first. When they come home, Mommy, I want to be an ice skater. No.
You are this meme because the reply from Incel Gamer is literally your job to bully your kids away from dumb decisions and fads.
Oh my god. I mean, ice skating's not a dumb decision or fad.
What is it?
A nice hobby.
A nice hobby.
We might crack your skull.
God, it's terrifying.
It's terrifying.
I mean,
Really
I respect it and I admire it, but oh my god, no.
I like rollerblading because it doesn't feel as dangerous, although it's probably exactly the same.
I feel like concrete is not quite as hard as ice, but I could just be making that up.
I mean, I'd rather not fall on either.
Yeah.
Wear a helmet.
Yeah, wear a helmet. Anyway,
yeah. Stupid.
Yeah, literally your job to bully your kids. Why would you have kids to just mistreat them?
But also, bullying is a very specific term to use because I think that the word bullying now gets actually thrown around way too much on social media now. Someone says I don't like something, all of a sudden it's like, this is a bully. No, bullying is like a continuous picking apart of you as a person by someone over and over and over again, which is like wearing you down, affects your psyche. Someone just saying I don't like you, that's not bullying. So I hate this use of this, bully gets way too much thrown around these days. But to say bully your child, so what you're saying is over a long period of time, you're supposed to go to your child and go, you are sick, you shouldn't do this is scum. Well, that's what you think you should do as a parent.
Bully your kids away from dumb decisions and fads. What kind of people are you raising?
Yeah.
Like how are they going to conduct themselves in society? They're either going to be incredibly traumatized and have to have therapy for that.
Absolutely.
Or they're going to be traumatized and then project that into the world and be assholes themselves.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, this person, what they're saying there, actually quite a common thing that you hear, like, especially these Andrew Tate people.
To bully your children.
Yeah, to make your children not to do things that are, like, outside of, like, the norm.
What your norm is.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's a very, actually, common mindset to have. Next, get out.
Where the woke used to live before the 70s.
Mental institution. Oh, my God. Do you know, also, years and years ago, people with autism was put in places like this.
Yeah.
Because they didn't understand what it was. They were, oh, it's a bit slow, whatever. That's generally what the idea was. I have dyslexia. When I was younger, even in the 90s, a lot of that, I was just like, he'll catch up. It's catch up.
There was no support.
No support, anything. There are so many things, if we go back in history, go further and further and further, that most disorders or conditions or anything that could be treated now with medicine or even just like managed would be put in mental institutions. There are so many different things that we easily manage now that would be considered a mental problem that were just thrown away as like the crazies.
And I like it how this meme is just perfectly explaining how they are not accepting that we are progressing as a society.
Oh, yeah,
You're basically going, oh no, my head is stuck 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. I will come nowhere near you.
Well, stay there then. Go back to that time then.
That would be great.
Yeah,
if we just had like a portal to push them.
Back, girls!
Go back to the 50s
Yeah, oh my
then.
God. It's one of those things where you see a lot of these posts that be like, men used to hunt for food and blah blah. Like while you're on Twitter moaning about it. Like, you think Twitter existed back in like 1700s or whatever it is like when...
But also go back to the 1700s and all the men are wearing wigs, makeup and big long coats.
Oh, they're full on sissies.
Fabulous.
Full on sissies back then. And they're like, oh, men used to dress like men. Like, while in the high heels being like, hello, do you like my powders with girls? Like, I'm in my element in the 1940s. Oh, no, 1400s or whenever it was, yeah.
Don't go to the 1940s.
No. Oh, God, it's that meme. They don't know it's Chan's day of visibility. He is risen. Christ is king. I cannot... The discourse that happened this year with these morons when it comes to trans day visibility and talking about, oh, it's like Easter
Sunday.
It's like they don't think that Easter changes every year. It's never on like the same weekend. It always changes all the time depending on whatever's going on.
Because it has to be a Sunday, so it's not... It's like Mother's Day, isn't it always Mothering Sunday?
Yeah.
So it's always the day of the week in and around this time period, but it's not the same date.
Yes, but they act like, oh no, this is the day that Jesus was arisen or whatever. It's like, but it was a different day last year. It wasn't the same date. So unfortunately, if it clashes with something else that happens to have a different meaning or whatever, deal with it. You can't just demand, oh, it's my day for everything. Like,
nobody's allowed a birthday.
nobody's allowed a birthday. No. Die.
Yeah.
Well, he did.
And then he rose.
He rose. Well, did he really, or was he just in a K-hole for 2 days and decided to hide in a cave?
Maybe.
He was like, it's all a trippy moment.
I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know.
Never know.
I mean, the whole thing about him coming back, obviously he didn't come back to life. Like, can we get a grip, please? Like, the bush didn't talk to someone. The water didn't part. Can we stop? Believe what you want to believe. I really don't care. But when you start saying shit like this and coming and being like, oh, today is meant to be Jesus' birth. How dare you give it? I don't normally get pissed off much, but when it comes to like these like insane religious people who just think like the world revolves around them, it's like off.
Yeah, there's a lot of entitlement. There's a separation between people who have religious beliefs and believe in God. That's totally fine. I respect people's different beliefs. But what I don't appreciate...
Very diplomatic.
No, I genuinely do. I don't have a problem with that. But like, do not knock on my door and tell me I need to convert. It literally would have just been a quick Google search of what's Trans Day visibility. Oh, it's on March 31st every year?
Yeah.
For quite a lot of years.
Yeah.
It's just a coincidence just how sometimes Shaba's birthday will be on Father's Day and sometimes it won't be because
selfish.
Yeah, I know, how dare.
So how selfish. But again, it's one of those things of like, if you actually look at like what days are, if you actually look at like, every single day, there are so many different like days of visibility or like awareness days. Even some of the most ludicrous things that I don't know. It's eating muffin on Wednesday, eating muffins while wearing a muffin hat day. Like there are so many different things.
Great.
But like a day can be more than one thing.
Yeah.
I don't get it. No, it must be my.
Just be happy for the trans Christians who got a double celebration.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, why are we complaining? Yeah, it was just like framed as this whole thing, mostly in the States, as trans people are trying to overtake this Christian holiday and celebration.
You changed your date, not us, sis. You changed it. You're the one who decides you want to have it on that, Jesus' birthday or whatever. Like, oh no! Hell.
This was posted in the mailroom and laundry room this morning at my apartment complex. Is it illegal to post this in a public place? So somebody's posted a babysitting service, with the little tear-off numbers. White kids only. What the actual...
Although obviously it's awful. Like,
how is she certified and licensed?
Oh, I swear to lie. Do you need a certified license to be a babysitter? This is obviously horrific to see. Like, I'm sure if you're a person of color seeing that, it would make you feel like shit. I get it, understand. But in a weird way, I almost feel like I'm glad you can just see this person who they are instantly, and you can instantly avoid her. Yeah, you can just be like, okay, this person's an absolute twat.
But the best thing would be if she just didn't babysit anyone.
Yeah.
I think what deserves to happen is all of those need to be ripped down. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Strike off her little certificate.
It's just the boldness of it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's America. I always find it interesting when it comes to racism, when it comes to like England and America, whereas like the UK, yes, it's still here. Obviously, the UK is still quite a racist country. But like in America, it's almost like there's like a pride of it. Like you just see people in the street saying like the N-word. Like you can see it all the time.
Why is that not embarrassment? Why are people not ashamed to have this opinion? That is something that you should not be openly advertising.
Domination.
Listen, the fact that you just wrote that openly and you've attached it to a photo of yourself because you're so detached
and your
from reality.
phone number and your name. What?
Oh God, you could imagine it. I hope she got lots of phone calls.
Entirely locked down.
in my apartment place. I mean, she lives there. Now, all the people that live there know that there's a racist woman lives on like floor 6. Obscene! How to calm a trans woman. How to calm down.
It's so unimaginative and unoriginal.
Make something
boring.
new. That's the thing, like, I laughed then. Not because I thought it was funny, but because it's like,
fed up.
get something new. I'm wishing for like some of the most offensive homophobic jokes to come out if they're clever. If you're like a homophobe, said the most horrific thing ever about me dying in some awful car accident, but make it the most hilarious gay joke you ever, you know, I would be like, do you know what? I disagree with it, but it's hilarious. This is just boring.
It's
Like,
almost, it's so offensive that they cannot be bothered to put effort into
no,
it.
yeah, it's just.
In reality, I want none of it.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, really, is this the best you could think of? And then you also choose a meme that the person who's being spoken to, who you're saying is a trans woman, would be read as a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, in no world would somebody actually go, sir, to that person.
Stupid.
Not only is it not a funny joke, but like, there's no effort to visually change it to fit your reality.
But also, like, there isn't really even a joke here.
Oh, it's just misgendering.
Yeah, there's
They
no.
just find it hilarious.
They find it's like they're finding a way just to misgender someone. So they, instead of just going, oh, just call this person a man or whatever, they're just like they're trying to frame it as a joke. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a joke. But there isn't really a joke here.
And of course she's angry. How to calm a trans woman because they're not calm.
I mean, these are the same people that still say attack helicopter shit. So like,
Yeah.
there's no imagination. It's just regurgitated bollocks. It's same people say to me all the time, airport security must love you. First of all, how often do you think I'm flying? Like, where do you think I'm going? That's gonna having piercings is gonna make me so horrific to travel with. But it's the same kind of people that say that kind of shit. It's just like, get something new.
Yeah, it's because they just pass around their one brain cell.
Yeah, stupid.
A new version of Scrabble is being released that's less competitive and more inclusive to attract Gen Z players. Maybe their spelling will improve once they get a grip on pronouns.
Oh, again, boring! Can you just find something else? There's many things you could joke about with Gen Z that would be hilarious. And like pronouns, like that's all you... Do you
me,
not
I
have anything else going on in your life?
I think millennials love a good pronoun.
Yeah, I was saying this isn't exclusive to
Excuse
Gen
me.
Z. This is not a
It's
Gen Z
not.
thing. No.
What I find really funny though is by trying to be so transphobic, it's actually the right-wing bigots who don't have a grip on pronouns.
Oh yeah, they're the ones that get
Like-
offended by it, really.
It's so grammatically incorrect the way they think about pronouns, and they're like,
No pronouns for this school in Wisconsin.
and it's like, what do you think a pronoun is? How are you going to address the class? Like, what are you going to do?
Do you ever think H2O is like water?
Yeah.
Is there like a code? Like H2O?
Oh.
Is it like a
I mean, aren't we carbon-based?
yeah?
I missed a lot of chemistry.
The funny thing is, like, I actually don't give a shit about pronouns. To call me whatever you want, I don't care.
Oh, I was gonna call you a mean thing and I couldn't even think of one.
Oh, call me if you want.
No.
One of our videos recently got demonetized because of that. Even though it was all beeped out, it was like, no, you can't. So I had to cut it out. I was like, for God's sake.
Oh my god.
Stupid.
Still science.
Current world population 8,025,788, like whatever. People born from women, people born from men. Feel free to fact.
Transphobia.
What are you talking?
It's the whole like
Only women get pregnant.
trans men aren't men because men can't get pregnant and no people are born from men.
The thing is, regardless of what you believe in, why do you care? Like, why do you care? Like, who gives a shit?
I wonder if their lives are just really, really boring.
Capture
And
the
they're like,
objective.
I need to make up some drama, a fake threat to make me feel like I have something to
Taking
talk
B.
about.
Yeah, a trans man who's having a
Enemy
baby, or
has
whatever, who
A.
exists over in that part of the world.
In
whatever. In that I was gonna say corner, in over there,
Face the wall.
caged. You who live on the other side of the country or the world, whatever, even if you live
The
down the
opposite
street,
corner.
it's like this person existing has zero impact on your life in any way, shape, or form. Unless they're literally coming to your house and being like, I will kill you. I mean, they should. Sorry, yeah, I'm a transphobe. Like, but they're not doing that. The idea that you would even give a shit, I'm just like, I don't understand. I will never understand this. Your own existence being so vacant and empty that someone else existing over there causes you so much rage and obsession that you need to do this.
I feel like some people have gotten so much privilege that they're like,
Oh, shit, I don't get this special attention.
how can I
can't
victimize
believe
myself?
Monday is not about me.
Is that what Monday should be?
Yeah, should be yeah,
Monday.
Monday.
Oh.
Every Monday it's Monday now, yeah. And all the men just get well, it's just disgusting. Well, I work from home, so unfortunately I can't do that. I'm not flexible enough.
By the time you've made this meme, it's already out of date.
Yeah! I've seen something that says like a death clock, like a death counter, and it shows that people are dying in the world, and it's like, oh, lovely. Yeah, absolutely disgusting.
On that note.
And this person should be the next
Hypersexual zombie cicadas infected with bizarre STD fungus will emerge in US. And excuse me, they're called progressives.
God's sake.
So they're calling
And it's Dave Rubin. Oh, shut up.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, it's so embarrassing. He's a little bit like the Candice Owens, but to the gay world. So he's a gay man, and he's just like fully right wing. He's friends with like really right wingers who think he's done. Candice Owens or someone. And they did like a video together, and they were just like, I just don't agree with your lifestyle, blah blah blah. And he was like, yeah, but we can still be friends. And then just Karen was like, it's fine. I was like, if this person wants you to die, like, Dave Rubin is he's an absolute joke.
Look.
Real pick me gay.
Having different tastes in chocolate, we can still be friends.
Yeah.
Thinking that I don't deserve rights and to exist.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely.
Friendship's a little bit difficult.
Ridiculous. Dave Rubin's an absolute joke.
God. So he's saying that progressives are STD infected bugs. I bet you he Googled himself as well.
Hypersexual zombie cicadas infected with bizarre STD fungus will emerge in the
I
US.
think that does sound terrifying.
Yeah, well, we're in the UK. We're fine.
Yeah,
But
we're
now,
fine.
We'll just have deadly grass.
Not The Last of Us just yet.
Jesus, what is that?
Oh, so basically there was somebody, they were really mad that in the main character, the main character who's a woman, her outfit is not acceptable. You know, like her bum is not round and plump and vacuum packed into her outfit. She's just wearing like a boiler suit type thing. So it's very progressive. It's like good, not hypersexualizing the woman lead. And so they photoshopped her to make her butt look very like round.
Weird,
Yeah.
perverted thing to do.
So I think this is taking the piss out of this. So it's like the meme about like transgender visibility being on Easter. The person was saying it's trans visibility. They're always like, oh, they need to like pink or purple or blue hair, and we need to make them look really like grotesquely drawn and all this stuff. It's not realistic. Where have you seen women with such arse and such tight clothes? Bang it. That's what I call realism. Good outfit for post-apoc setting. A woman looks like a woman, not a sex toy. And then perfect. And then she's just covered in a sheet. Like they've masculinized so many bits about her. So you're saying that just because this character in Fallout wasn't sexualized in her outfit and had like a really round bum that was on the shirt, suddenly everything about her is more masculine.
What's stupid as well is the fact that like if you're watching a show about like a post-apocalyptic sort of environment, all the shit, for just to see hot girls, I don't understand like what,
It's not the place
like
to die.
yeah, like why is this what you're going to do? I think you all should die. The thing is, when it comes to a lot of this kind of stuff, there are many still games, shows, anything where they still go to this sort of like slightly more hyper sexual identity of a woman. Like that still happens. But if you want to be realistic, it's not realistic in any way, shape, or form. Like you would never have these people like Lara Croft, for example, in the original games. She would never. A person actually in that environment doing that would never look anything like that. Yes, you would just die of like coldness. But like
exposure.
I actually don't have a problem with it if people design things like this. Is fine. Like you know, as long as everything's consensual, everything, it's fine. I actually don't have a problem with it. But can we stop acting as if like every single female lead in every single show has to be this one specific look of a woman? I don't get it.
Biggest bum and the smallest waist.
Yeah.
And this was made as like some, oh look how stupid they are saying this, and but actually like that is unrealistic.
Well, it's
And it is realistic for her to just be wearing, like it's a boiler suit.
Yeah.
To make somebody look like that in like a onesie, you basically have to body paint them or make it lycra.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just-
What I don't understand is why did they need to put like the slight hint of sort of like racism at the end with the burqa? Because if we take this as fact, what they're saying is fact, we would say the middle photo, but that's fine for the show. But they needed to take it one step extra just to kind of be like xenophobic. I don't.
Is it trying to say like, oh, what progressives really want is women just to be completely covered?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, this is why True Right can't mean.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
it
Yeah, I
doesn't
don't know why.
really make
We're
sense.
literally trying
We're
to
trying-
dissect the reason why we're doing this.
We're trying to create logic out of something that's not logical. No, this isn't how real women look. And then it's literally a CGI game character, not a real woman.
Not a real.
Yeah, that's a made-up cartoon character. Maybe like loosely based off of a real person. That's not a photograph.
So ludicrous. Again, you're basing it off of an anime character. Like people don't look like that. Unless you've got like loads of makeup on, or maybe some like tape and things to shape the face. Like look at the face. Look at her chin. Like
VFX.
no one
That's
would
what you
look at that
mean.
without surgery. Like.
And then underneath, some good old transphobia.
Yeah.
Still in order. Again, yes, a real woman, you go, girl. And it's like, yeah, what I don't understand is they're making a meme. There's literally just the truth, but then they they sit there laughing at it as if they've made some special thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes,
Switching
person
rally
who made
points.
this meme and who agrees with this meme, that is not a real woman on top because that is a game character.
That is, yeah.
That, yes, trans women are women, so the bottom photograph is a photograph of a real woman.
It's so stupid.
She lives
the
in the
objectives.
real world, not the computer.
And the thing is as well,
Taking
is it's like
Alpha.
J.K. Rowling was doing this with Monroe recently. It's like they pick images of these trans women as well
lockdown.
very early on in transition.
We've taken the lead.
Never what they look like now. And I'm not saying there's a right and a wrong way to transition or to look like a woman or whatever, but they very
took
specifically take images in the early transition stages when they're learning makeup before surgeries might have happened. And it's to convey this message that like this is what they look like or this is
Yeah.
you know actually a man or something. It's like that's not how they look now to begin with anyway. If you want to play that game,
It's misrepresentation and it's being done maliciously.
taking
It's
this
not being
objective.
done with like this person shared this back in the day. This is, it's out there on the internet. Other people can see it if they want to.
Yeah.
It's literally to misconstrue what they look like now.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
to say, okay, I'm going to share this to millions of people with the intention that this is what they'll think this person looks like now. And
Yeah.
this is before the person has had literal gender affirming healthcare and surgery. Like FFS is gender affirming healthcare, and you're posting a photo of somebody prior to them receiving that
Absolutely.
surgical procedure. And like
Yeah.
that's rude when you're doing it
Losing
within that
Alpha.
context. If you're doing a before and after that somebody is going to be fine with, sure, show an old photo. They shared it themselves as well. But if you're doing it to like knock them down and laugh at them and call them a trans woman now,
Yeah.
so you pick the photo you can find where they look the most masculine to you, that's horrendous. That's
Yeah.
like disgusting
it's just to
behaviour.
convey a specific type of message, which is just again the right can't meme because they don't understand how to actually like do it. Like at least if it goes to be offensive, I said, but make it make sense at least.
I know, I feel like this could almost be in trans memes.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Stupid. McBurgers, girl.
McBurgers, and they said $20 hour minimum wage would hurt California. I know, right? Please pay the robot $168 for your burger. There's people who are anti-minimum wage being raised. Oh, but the robot's gonna do the job.
When it comes to this very Tory mindset, no, it's just out people. It's like if people around you and the jobs in all industries can make a bit more money, minimum wage raises, people's livelihoods can get a bit better, they can survive a bit better, people's mentality, people's mental health, people's even just attitudes towards things raise because they're not so stressed out anymore. Even if like the top people, even if it came, they might need a tiny bit of money or they tax a little bit more. It's like you do realize that you will actually help an entire population of people to be better, and in the end, you'll probably make more money because there's actually happy people living life, going out having fun, and not going,
yeah.
oh, I have to now sit at home and eat tins of beans because I can't afford this because wages are not rising, like minimum wage isn't rising, but my rent and all that shit is going up. It's like they don't actually think about the bigger picture. They think of the immediate, like, I will lose this money. But in reality, if you actually think about it, if everyone's happier, money is more likely to be spent with happy people.
Yeah.
Like,
If people at McHot Dogs are earning more money, then they can go and buy more McBurgers
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Yeah.
you're right.
if your country is full of happy people, you'll have much more positive outcomes, more job, more money, more things will be spent, and the economy will flourish more. I'm not trying to be like a financial advisor because I'm not, but
New job title.
exactly. Yeah. Buy Bitcoin. No, but like my thing is just like if the population of your country is way more happier, you will make way more money because people will spend the money when they're happy and not worrying about eating food.
What is beyond my comprehension is recognizing that workers under a certain company, right, are being paid below what would be considered the minimum standard of living wage. And that could literally be an extra 50 pence per hour. And okay, fine, across thousands of people, that's a lot of money, but that's what people need
Losing
to live.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Why in this capitalism?
Securing Charlie.
But eventually, we said this about where I used to live in Wembley, where it's like the building that we lived in, the rent was going up so high that like people who could afford it, like we could just about afford it. Even if we could, it's like we're choosing not to because it's so much money that like you've now lost people who would have stayed there. And over the years that we lived there, more and more people are moving out. And it's like, so you want this money so badly, you keep saying blah, 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 but now you're just having an empty building.
Yeah, they're like, oh, let's get 30% capacity at the highest rent we could possibly charge and make significantly less money than if we had 100% capacity at a standard rent.
Yeah, I don't get it.
And then they get themselves trapped in a cycle because they're
Incoming
charging so much
syntax.
rent. The fewer people they have, the more rent they're going to feel like they have to charge.
Absolutely.
It's actually no, just drop your prices and people will come back.
Yeah, and the same thing about this, I said about the money people being happier. Like if you run a business and you don't pay people enough, they will leave your business and it will fail. Because eventually people who can't afford to stay in this area, especially like in London, like obviously it's different when you got like Burger King and McDonald's. Obviously it's a bit harder, but like actual companies that don't pay people enough money, you will just lose your workers because people will not be able to afford to use this as their main job. And they'll just move out of the city and move out of these places and you'll be like, well, what am I going to do now? People don't think of the long term, they think of the short term and they don't realise that actually
They need to go get a minimum wage job.
they need to go get minimum. I don't know, I just find it, people never think of the long term with this shit. It's always like spend now. If I don't make anything right now, fails and that means I'm going to die. And it's like, well, actually, no, if you don't actually treat people good long term, you'll fail. Crash and burn.
Be nice.
Just like
Crash and burn, be nice.
Supernova.
The female brain.
Dear.
Rolly, this is going to be lovely. Okay, so what sections do we have? It's
Wine.
true because it's true in my mind, connective tissue. That's
yeah,
like the whole bit of the brain.
The funny thing is, like, just literally going on that one bit of sentence, it's true because it's true in my mind. This is exactly what this person who's created this meme has done. This is literally exactly what you've just done. The fact that you've written all that is you just going, it's true because I said it's true. This isn't true for women. Like, I know many women who don't just whine, nag, be thankful for all the things men do for women.
Is the tiny dot.
The
in
tiny
middle.
dot.
This is a man who's like,
I'm not appreciated.
Yeah, and you probably-
I bought her a dandelion and
Yeah.
she didn't love me.
A dandelion.
A dandelion.
Body aches unit. Demand more.
yeah.
Princess Bridge.
I'm assuming that's the bridge between being demanding and then sulking if you don't get it. It's because
maybe.
they're a princess and it connects the two.
Oh.
So then they sulk. There's a tear duct trigger because they cry, mouth motor, and then a very horrible one that I'm not going to read out because YouTube won't like it, but also it's just not nice.
No, exaggerate and lie. I just don't get how you can make that and think that you have a good point when you're just being a hypocrite.
And if you hate women this much, I'm so confused. Why straight men hate women so much?
The question of life. I honestly don't know.
The answer is not 42.
No.
Nobody knows the answer.
It's
But
actually 64. The Oracle. No, I don't understand. I don't get this hatred. The only thing I can even think of is because, like, I don't know, maybe they're like, I actually don't know. I can't. I honestly genuinely
like
don't know
he's
this.
thinking.
Yeah, this hatred for women that so many of these men have, I don't understand. Ugly, horrible, gremlin people who just stay in their own little caves and watch anime and think all women should be like that. Maybe that's what it is. I think maybe sometimes it's being very sheltered.
do you think this is made by an incel?
Yeah, like I feel like this is very incel thing. Maybe that's it. It's like people who can't actually come out of their little bubbles. They suddenly think that like they see an anime girl being like, oh, I accept everything from this man, and then think, why am I going to have this fake character?
Maybe. It very much gives me the energy of like, I held the door open for her. Why did she not marry me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Free speech tolerance. You know what's so funny about all this free speech going on at the moment? When she did the whole talking about trans people in the Holocaust, talking about that stuff, there was a whole thing about people saying that she was a Holocaust denier and stuff. And so people had free speech all the shit, and then she was like trying to sue all these people.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So what's with this free speech? You keep going about how she's like a free speech defender, all this stuff, but then just sues anyone she doesn't like what they're saying.
Yeah,
like
they just don't understand the difference between freedom of speech is not freedom of consequence. So it's like, sure, yeah, say something that somebody doesn't like and they're in a position of power, maybe they'll sue you, but like it's very hypocritical for the person to do the suing to be the one who's like free speech is being
it's
imposed
stupid.
upon.
It's stupid. It's really
And then
dumb.
literally just trying to shut down people that disagree. And block. Left, right and centre blocking as well.
Oh, constantly.
It's just like literally curating this incredibly transphobic, toxic echo chamber. So many people do it who have these views.
Yeah.
And they create their own little echo chambers and they're like, free speech. And then as soon as somebody says something they don't like they'll have cis women show up at transphobic rallies and start speaking and being trans-friendly. No, they take the microphone away from them. What happened to free speech? Come on.
Yeah, it's so dumb. It's like free speech for me, silence for you.
Yeah.
You give them anything back what they give you, and all of a sudden it's like, how dare you? God, stupid. That is my impression of the turf.
I think it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was that Donald Trump? Pray for this man. He's fighting an evil that we can't even imagine. Eat what?
a lack of confidence.
Just too much Cheeto dust. I don't like. What is he fighting?
I don't know. It's just people who are like, oh, Trump, so wonderful. I don't know why I wrote that. Oh, Trump.
Getting spicy. The stupid thing about it is the fact that a lot of the time when it comes to right wingers and the obsession with Trump is they kind of, a lot of it's to do with religion as well. They're always very religious people. It tends to be the same types of people. Yet they idolize him as if he is a god, and they talk about him as if he is a god, which in itself is a sin. Which I find very interesting that they become so besotted with this man and talk about him like he's the be-all and end-all of existence. And it's like, that should be your god. You seem to all be like, God. Did you see that video of him, the person asking Trump about the Bible? And they were like, so what parts of the Bible do you like? And he was like, all of it, just bits there. And
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly not read it.
not read the Bible. And then like, so what testament do you like, the Old or New Testament? Like, all of it,
Yeah, and he's selling his own Bible, right?
Yeah, stupid. Selling his own Bible. Isn't that the most Tory thing you could do? Being like, I've made my own Bible that you can
It's like $60.
Well, people who's selling those shoes recently as well as the Trump shoes, and this man paid like $9,000 for these Trump golden shoes. It's like, how you don't see how this man is just rinsing you for your money? He is a con man, nothing more than a con man.
Evil is literally his own fault.
Yeah.
New Nemo remake looks pretty good. Finding Daddy. The racism. They can't make a joke without being like homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic, or racist, or sometimes all of the above.
It's so...
I mean, from my understanding of this, part of it is to imply that black men abandon their children.
There's that stereotype. Of that. I know Jeremy Kyle show was absolute trash, but like most people that are on that were white, and it was basically the same people being.
Yeah.
It was basically the same problem. Like he ran away, and they were all white people.
It's just racist.
Yeah, it's just racist. Like, it's stupid. But again, it's very the callers coming from inside the house. Can we stop acting like white people are any different with this kind of shit? It's so tiresome now these days. We talked about the stereotypes of like the angry black woman on my channel. It happens the same thing. Like, there are many videos that most of the stuff that we looked at in that video were just white people shouting and screaming for no fucking reason. But they don't see it. It's like, no, that doesn't happen. It's just black people. No.
Yeah.
It's boring. Get a grip. Like,
It's
how
like,
you still like it?
You know, beer goggles. They're wearing bigotry goggles.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's why when people say, like, scratch the surface of a transphobe, you find a homophobe, and you go down even deeper, and racist.
Yeah.
And it's because it's all stemming from the same root of bigotry.
Yeah.
And just intolerance and not wanting to see the good in people who are different. You only want people who are exactly the same. That would be so boring.
Oh, what?
Could you imagine?
What's funny as well is like,
Imagine a
all these-
world of Ben Shapiro.
Oh my god, the tone of voice is an echo of this like sound constantly. Why does he talk the way that he does? It's almost like he's like can't form a sentence. Everything is like this. I have to keep coming.
I really try to avoid
I see in sometimes because I do sometimes I react like alpha male stuff, and a lot of the time they use like his sort of sound bites and things, videos of him talking about like just anyone who's being like misogynistic. All of a sudden it's like alpha male. So anything when they anything ridiculous, but it's boring at this point. Again, right can't meme. I understand that's the whole point, but even still, I just like, can you just think of something else? Again, if you're gonna be offensive, please just be original.
Yeah.
I want to appreciate it.
But that is the thing. All of their humour and everything they find funny, it's all rooted into knocking other people down.
Yeah.
And being just horrible. It's like they can't do a joke, they can't create a meme without it being rooted in some form of bigotry.
Yeah.
And intolerance.
Yeah. Stupid. Finding daddy. I like a good daddy. Cleaning toilets is more productive than arguing with feminists. Like, what? How are those things even equated? Like, what?
I read this and I was like, I don't quite know what it means.
What's this supposed to
But I feel like it's just trying to say women should stop being feminists and should clean toilets.
Yeah, I mean, it could be one of those things like, get in the kitchen, you make me a sandwich. Like, true. Get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich because I'm quite hungry. But like, no,
What would you like?
I would like embryo of ostrich.
Rare. Sure, I can find it.
Yeah, she is a very unique butterfly today.
I'm a beautiful butterfly!
No, but like, what would make more sense than to be like, I don't know, arguing with a dog is because like a toilet doesn't do anything. If you're gonna make a joke like this, surely you'd be like something that actually responds to you. I'm looking way to it. I know I'm looking way too into this.
You're trying to rationalize
I'm trying to rationalize
Yeah.
it. But like cleaning toilets is more productive than arguing with feminists. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know anymore.
I wish the rich paid their fair share to a genie. It is done. Nothing's changed. Correct. As in, the rich already pay their sure jam.
Stupid. And what's funny about this is like, I bet someone who doesn't have a lot of money pulling over me. The amount of people that defend billionaires. And I'm not saying this is like a slur, but like working class people who don't have much money, who might live paycheck to paycheck, especially in this day and age with the cost of living and stuff. The amount of people I see that like defend Elon Musk. I'm like, he literally thinks you are scum.
And who vote Tory?
Who vote Tory. Like, these people want you out of existence. I don't get it.
They're not here to help you.
Yeah, I really don't understand. I really don't understand this idea.
I think it's because very broadly two sides of politics, right? There's the economic side and then there's the social side. So it's often sometimes when people agree so strongly with the social side of one party, they forget the fact that they're just going to screw themselves over economically by voting for it. And it's like, oh, okay, because that's one reason. But like, you know, the Brexit campaign was just full of lies.
Yeah.
And so many other campaigns in the States, a lot of the stuff is just blatant lying.
Blatant lying, yeah. I would never understand how there was no legal repercussions for all this stuff like the Brexit. Nigel Farage, because the whole bus thing with the whole NHS money, it was just literally, it was all completely all fabricated. How there was no legal repercussions for that, especially because of like what that led to.
Yeah.
The fact that now, just to get fish fingers, it's like £10 a box. Like, it's so stupid.
Hostile counter-spy plane established
Me
above.
leaving the restaurant after tipping 0% because the waiter told me his pronoun. You're using a picture of like Ken from like, the Barbie film, but the whole message of like the Barbie film was like about inclusion and acceptance, everything. Yeah, there's a little bit where he's a bit weird in the middle. Then at the end, it turns back the way that it should be.
Yeah, and actually, people with that kind of opinion in the writing did not like the Barbie movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you doing?
This one's just for you, Roland.
Oh, ew, I just realised it's Donald Trump. I was like, oh, daddy, girls. And then I realised it's Donald. Oh my God.
Daddy's coming home, and he's gonna beat up every man that comes in his face.
You're supposed to make a meme that's on your side that goes like, oh yeah, this is what we believe in. But you're gonna also make it about a gay joke.
This one, people were like, wait, this must be a joke. This must be satire. And I suspect it was made as a joke, but somebody who's right wing apparently posted it unironically in a thread and then picked up and put on the subreddit. But I suspect it was initially made as a joke.
But again, I don't understand why they need to put Donald Trump's face on it as if like he looks like that. It's this is what I mean about this.
Have you not seen?
Raw dog me daddy. But like this is what I mean about the whole like they idolize him so much. It's almost like they don't realize that he is like a human being who's like in his own body, in his own mind, in his own way. They act as if he's like this ethereal being who like looks like this.
Well, it's like there was a whole thing about his height, where like they were like, oh, no, he's really tall. He's really tall. And then like for some reason, for him to be powerful, they had to make up that he was really, really tall. That is so bizarre. It's just
get it, like
he's a man in his 70s. He's very orange. He's got a comb over, except what he looks like.
What's really funny about not funny, it's not funny, but funny in like this situation. It's like the amount of people who are on the Trump side who will watch someone like Joe Biden make mistakes or fumble things and go, he's decrepit. A lot of the stuff that Donald Trump does is the exact same as what Joe Biden does when it comes to stumbling his words, getting facts wrong, getting things, and they're like, no. But if Joe Biden does the same thing, I don't like Joe Biden either. I don't like either of them. But like, if I had to pick between the two, he's better than both of them. But like, I still don't think people that age should be in control of the country anyway. Like, sorry, do you know what teenagers need? But when he makes the same mistakes that Joe Biden does, it's like, no, it's okay. It doesn't mean anything.
Oh, it's okay. He just didn't have his afternoon nap.
Yeah, it's just
fine.
like these people. I'm sorry, they just shouldn't be in power. Like, call me ages if you want for that, but I'm sorry, I just don't think when you get to that age, you're too out of touch with what young people need. We need middle-aged people to be like at least somewhat coming into power. Instead of saying you can't be president until you're like almost 40 or something. You have to be actually quite going on in age to become president.
Oh.
There's an age limit. There should be some fact check or something, but it's like almost 40.
I think when you hit like your 70s and 80s, I don't know who could be bothered to be president.
Who could be
at that age?
Power? People just like power. Unfortunately, when you get to that age, it is about power and money. Like, it's not because you want to help the people. It's just power and money.
Pessimist, the glass is half empty. Optimist, the glass is half full. Leftist, the water is racist. The water is racist.
They don't have any idea what they're talking about. A little bit like the transphobe one was like, oh, calm down, sir. It's like they want to get like racist and they'll just put it with the most random thing that could ever happen. It'll be something like, I don't know, playing on the Xbox. Oh, I like to shoot zombies. Playing on the PlayStation. Oh, I like to shoot demons.
Aliens.
And then it'll be like playing on the Switch. This game's racist and should be like, no pronoun. They just want to use those sort of like slogans, and they'll just
Yeah.
like pair it with the most anything they possibly can.
And I'm like, of course, racists think that people who aren't racist think everything is racist because they don't think that the racist things they say are racist.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just that we see it with transphobes. It's like people still defending J.K. Rowling and saying she's not transphobic. It's like, I have a news flash for you. That means that you are. Because she has very blatantly said that trans women aren't women.
Yeah.
She's said some very bad things about the trans community and very hurtful. Cannot get more black and white transphobia than saying trans women aren't women. And the people who then go on to say, oh no, but she's not transphobic. That's not transphobic. You are transphobic.
Yeah, that's
the
what-
only
yeah.
reason why that would not be viewed as transphobic is because the person saying it's not transphobic is transphobic. I've said
Absolutely,
transphobic
yeah,
so many
because they don't
times.
think what they're saying is wrong. It's one of those things that no matter what you say to these people, they're too far down the rabbit hole where they're untamable. At this point, it's like their DNA. It's become like a part of their DNA of like, this is me now. And I always say this when it comes to Voldemort, that it's like, if you were to go back to the day where it was a middle-aged moment, it was just a middle-aged moment, and then show what they said about even just Monroe, the whole thing about dead naming Monroe, using old pronouns and old photos. If you were to show Voldemort that and be like, this is what you've just said, I bet you back then they're like, no, I'd never say anything like that. It's almost like they get more and more extreme. The spiral of like extremism happens all the time when it comes to these people. It'd be interesting to see, go back in time and to show them, be like, this is what you're like now. If it would ever like snap in their brain of like, oh.
I read something really interesting.
All
So
right,
like
chaps,
people get
we
trapped in
trained
these
for this.
echo
You know what
chambers, they
to
give
do.
them more power to their opinions because they found this support bubble who do it. They're basically in a cult at that point. It's really hard to get out of, because getting out of it and going back on those views, especially if you get more and more extreme, you have to then admit and face the fact that you have caused real life harm to people. And people don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. So like, it's a really hard thing to do to get yourself out of a hurtful cult or out of a hurtful mindset.
Yeah.
Because then you literally have to be like, well, damn, oops.
It's very rare that you find. I mean, it does happen sometimes. You see some people.
One of the Western Baptist Church, one of the women from there left, but then fell straight into transphobia.
The trials of J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
She's like, stupid. Is it really that surprising?
And it's like, well done for leaving the first one you were in, but you've just fallen straight into the second one.
Yeah.
And you're still hurting people.
Yeah. You would expect that someone like that who managed to get out of a horrible place like the West Baptist would have a little bit more awareness.
And maybe be like, maybe I shouldn't say horrible things about groups of people that I don't know.
This is the thing, absolutely. You're having the same response now directed to you as you did when you were in the West Baptist Church. Yet for some reason you're going, maybe this is the same as what I've just done and just come out of. Stupid.
I wonder if there was maybe a sense though of like,
Megan felt broken.
of like being lost coming out of this environment, and then finding support. Because I think there's a lot of manipulation within any kind of bigotry when people are pulled into it when they weren't initially bigoted. So like transphobes, there's a lot of lies said about the trans community to fearmonger. And so I feel like if you've lost that community you were so used to, it perhaps would be easy to fall into another one if you were manipulated into thinking that wasn't hurtful.
Yeah.
Like these new opinions you now have aren't harming people. And then when you do realise they are, that's going to be horrible. It's not going to be a fun day.
One thing that does actually make me happy with these people is they are the people that sit there who just get livid, like Glenna, that awful man. Like these people, they're chronically online, constantly angry about everything. Obsessed with hateful. That cortisol kills you. And all they're getting is cortisol rushing through their body, which is why if you look at Voldemort, she's aged terribly over the past few years. Don't tell you why, because cortisol ruins your face. Cortisol destroys your body. Stress is one of the biggest killers in people. Like stress will just age you out of existence, like really quickly. Like presidents, you think presidents, and like they age so rapidly. And again, people age and stuff, but the speed that a lot of these people age is so quickly. And the fact that cortisol is like you feel that stress hormone, sis. You get that rushing through your body.
There's that truth in when people are so horrible inside. It really does.
Them.
It does reflect on the outside.
Yeah. Bigotry rots the face and it rots the brain.
They lose everything. There are people who are transphobic. They've lost their job. They've lost their families. They've lost their friends. And the only friends they have are fellow bigots who only care about them because they're bigoted. As soon as you realise just how wrong you are, if you ever realise how wrong you are in that opinion, and you want to backtrack a bit, nobody's going to be waiting for you.
Yeah, it's true. Lawrence Fox is the perfect example of these like
people
horrific
throw their
people.
lives away to be hateful, and I'm like, honestly, if there is some kind of afterlife, you are being just like that is not gonna look good on your heaven CV.
I love that video of Lawrence Fox. It was just after he got sued by Crystal for calling like they were pedophiles. But there was a rally about protect kids. It was like a drag queen story hour, and he got out of the car and he was like, said this to the microphone, and he was like this, like trying to tell his point to all of his bigot friends. But because there were so many counter protesters, and in recent times he has to pay shit tons of money in like damages because of defamation lawsuits against him for calling Crystal a pedophile. He was just there like quivering, like shivering, like trying to tell his point because he was being drowned out by those people. And I just love to see someone who is so vocal on Twitter, who is so confident on Twitter, be this like quivering mess of like a boy like in that situation. I was like, yes, I love knowing that it actually is affecting these people. Like, these people actually do get affected by it. It's not good. If you're going to be screaming angry about us, at least give us the satisfaction that like you're actually trembling. And to see him like with a microphone being like, they said they couldn't. There was a thing as well. He was doing a thing about boycott Nike, but he was also wearing Nike shoes at the time, and he was advocating to boycott Nike. And he was like, no, but he was wearing Nike shoes. Like, it's so dumb. They have
So typical. I'm not surprised that happened.
Yeah.
The only bit that really irks me is the fact that because it's powerful people who are being so transphobic, it is having an impact at the moment on like the social culture. It's getting into politics. If that weren't happening, I'd honestly just be sitting back and going, be mad. Make yourself as angry as possible, fuel yourself on that hatred and let it consume you whilst all I'm doing is living my best life.
Yeah.
Looks
You're
like we
so
got the
angry
bastards.
because I'm
All
just
squad
being
members
me.
RTB.
Yeah.
Because trans people are just being
That outcome
themselves.
was never
That
in
is
doubt.
such a pathetic thing to spend your life being angry over.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I know it takes a little bit of time. These people will die. Like, it is an age thing. Like, we can pretend it's not, but like, the majority of these people who are like turfy, they're all like getting up there in age. Like, the majority of young people are a lot more progressive and will accept. They will die out. Unfortunately, it takes a while sometimes, but if these people never change their mind, they will die. That's a positive you could take from this. My job is done. But it's true. The article that the Daily Mail put of like J.K. Rowling was like the people that support J.K. Rowling, the people that don't.
Oh, yeah.
And it was all like the Harry Potter people who are like mid-30s and all the old people to support him. 3 of them already died.
If that takes too long, they'll be too old and too tired to carry on with it. Like, there's gonna become a point where it's just like, maybe I should paint a nice watercolor picture.
Yeah.
You know.
And the thing is, like, I think this is going to be the first like election cycle where there's a big proportion of like new Gen Zs able to vote.
Yeah.
Which is why I think there was a thing about Trump was trying to put a law in that you had to get a photo ID to be able to vote or something, and it was because it's harder for younger people to get these like, IDs that they needed. I can't remember exactly what the story was, but it was
Don't
like
we
along the
have
lines.
ID? Don't we need to take picture ID in the UK to vote?
I've never taken ID with me when I don't think.
No, I think it's new.
Oh, a new thing. Maybe it's Tories that were trying to do
I
it.
might be talking out my butt, but there's definitely a want to do that. I know because there's a big thing about it really excluding trans people from like wanting to vote because like that ID often won't match who they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it was here. There was something about America doing it when it comes to racism, and it was like to stop as many black people voting. And maybe it was the UK was like it was making it harder for younger people to vote because they needed photo ID because the Tories know that the young people are more likely to vote either like Liberal or like Green or like Labour or something. But they're gonna lose. I cannot imagine them gonna win this election coming up. Who's actually going to vote for Rishi Sunak?
I will.
Me. Can you imagine?
Get out.
Rishi Sunak.
Dear feminists, if you spent more time baking these rather than eating them, you may find a man and be happy.
Because, like,
misogynistic, fatphobic. Stop eating the pies, just make them to lure a man.
I don't understand this idea that, like, feminism or, like, feminists are, like, all overweight people
Take
who
the
just eat
objectives.
pies. Like, what are they, what?
Well, they think they're making a joke that doesn't make sense because you're basically just saying, oh,
Taking
okay,
B.
so feminists eat pies. Right.
Enemy
That's
SA.
all they do. They eat the pies that other people make. I was doing a video recently and I was so exhausted about 2/3 of the way through because I was like, this whole time I've been trying to make sense of what I'm reacting to and it just doesn't. It's like homophobic memes. I'm just like, what the is going?
Yeah.
So, dear feminists, make pies.
I do like a pie.
See you locked down.
I like an apple crumble. I like an apple crumble. Rhubarb strudel. Oh, delicious.
I like a berry strudel.
Very strudel. Because I live with my grandparents. They're from the very generation of like women with the bake or whatever. My grandma really likes cooking. She used to make gorgeous constantly put pies. They put pies and pies everywhere. She was also a feminist though, so she was a feminist who made lots of pies.
I know you said you can't be a pie baking feminist and a pie eating non-feminist.
Yeah.
Pie baking and making and eating is not the be all and end all of whether you're a feminist or not. One, you
I love how
don't
that
need a...
shocks you.
I know. Mummy made a pie. You don't need a man to be happy.
No.
What about women who don't want a man for whatever reason, sexual orientation, or just wanting to be single? And pies. Why so much emphasis on pie? It's because they found the photo.
They found the photo. They found the photo.
She looks like a trad, right? How can we make this funny? Ridiculous.
I'd love for these people who were like going about going back to the old days in these times. Okay, then why don't you actually live properly like how they live? Why don't you go and put some lead in your face and your face powder? Or maybe eat some radium or asbestos, or like why don't you paint your wallpaper with green arsenic like in the green paint or whatever?
So you have a smartphone.
Yeah, exactly. Take that
Get rid of it. No Twitter.
Back in my time, we used to do all this. I so unfairly. Go on, then go back to your day then. Go back and live like the way you lived back then. See how long you've
Without the Twitter validation.
Without the Twitter
it wouldn't be long.
How am I going to pay for my tick?
Taylor Swift ticket, $500. New outfit, $500. New outfit. iPhone 15, $1,500. Can't pay back student loans. Priceless. This is the whole millennials can't buy houses because they buy avocados.
My grandparents, right? They had a 3-bedroom bungalow. Nice bit of land behind them. It was like less than £15,000, and that was in like the 60s whenever they bought that, right? The same house sold for £300,000. But the idea that you would go, well, when I was younger, I bought this house. But they were never like that. I'm using an example. My grandparents were never like this. If you would say that, okay, well, where are we getting £300,000 from?
Yeah, also, like, have wages gone up the same proportion? No, they haven't.
No,
There's so many
absolutely.
graphs that show you that, like, house prices are like this and wages are like this.
Yeah.
Like, this gap is why millennials can't buy houses.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with this. And I'm telling you, millennials who can't buy houses, can't pay back their student loans, are very unlikely to be spending $2,500 to go to one concert.
Yeah, well,
Maybe they'll
absolutely.
buy the tickets. That is not the be-all and end-all of whether you can pay back £60,000 worth of student loan or buy
Yeah.
a £300,000 house. So disproportionate, the comparison. Say that about somebody who goes out and spends 90 grand on a car.
Yeah.
Fair, but
Also, what's stupid about this is iPhone 15, $1,500, can't pay back quite loans prices. I'm pretty sure most people who get iPhones will just buy it on finance and have like a contract for like a 2-year thing that they pay back $30 a month or something.
I think very few people buy their phone outright.
No, I don't. I don't know many people who just buy the phone outright. So that's stupid in itself. But yeah, it's this idea that like, say these people have spent this money on this whatever and can't pay their student loans. It's this idea of you are not allowed to enjoy your life and have fun at all until you have given every ounce of your money to the government. I don't understand why they seem to hate the idea of people being able to enjoy themselves. They don't have any fun. Yeah, I would never understand that. Let people enjoy things. I would understand if you personally, you lent
money
someone to someone and they really needed something in a situation and suddenly they bought a new computer and a new this and they're doing all something. I would understand that. This student loan thing, like whatever, there are some taxes or things that might happen, but like you're acting like it's coming especially out of your bank account and you've now lost 30 grand. Also, can we just talk about the amount of money it costs now to get a degree? Is repugnant, especially in the UK.
So I graduated from my undergrad in 2015. 9 years ago, I owe more now, and I've been paying back my student loan since I finished my PhD like 5 years later. So I've been paying back my student loan for over 4 years now. I owe more now than I did at the beginning.
Oh, it's so disgusting.
It's just going up.
Yeah, and the stupid thing is like, I still think education is obviously pretty important. They're getting a degree now doesn't mean as much as it used to. Like, Luxaria, I talked about this on Luxaria when she tried to get an entry-level job in a science space that she was going to get to, and they were like, what's your second degree in? And she had just like finished his first degree and spent like years and years and years. They were like, where's your second degree? 2 degrees to get an entry-level job in science. It was just like, most of the people that I work with, when I worked in retail, a lot of people who I worked with had degrees, had much more than just like GCSEs. A lot of the young people had like actual like proper like high qualifications, just couldn't find jobs because it was like, where's your experience? Where's all this? It's like, what? Getting degrees now don't mean as much as it used to.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And I was the first year where they did the prices from £3,000 down to 9.
Oh, disgusting.
It was just so painful.
Is it? I think it's in Scandinavia, like a lot of the education is free. Can we stop acting question like, is it like, yeah, student loans and like getting them to go to university, is that this like really cheap thing that people are doing? You can just spend, like, pay it back. It's so, again, it's out of touch boomers though, who are just like, look at my day, I bought my house for an onion. Like, well, great, thank you, Stuart.
An onion and a rabbit.
Yeah, oh yeah, stop, get the rabbit, sorry, yeah.
Don't make it sound too.
Yeah, sorry, but they just, I don't get it. Again, it's this stupid, like, buy an avocado. I hate avocados.
Also, typically, student loans are higher than what an average young person would be putting down as a house.
Switching around points.
Yeah, they can be like 50, 60, 70,000 pounds / dollars. If you find a house, you do a 10% deposit, you're looking at around like 25 to 30,000, which is a hell of a lot of money, but that is significantly less than a lot of people's student
Secure
loans.
the objective.
So like expecting people to pay back their student loans, especially like
Securing A.
This
some
objective's
people
mine.
could spend £2,500, maybe they spread that out as they are spreading out their student
Hostile
loans. They
spy
can
plane
repay
established
just
overhead.
gets taken out in
Yes,
tax.
of course, yeah.
Hey,
If I
locked down.
had the means I wanted to doing lump sum would be a thing I do, but why would I? Because they keep putting, I'm just paying interest.
Well, that's the thing.
Why would I do that?
Everything that we do in life, right, we budget things. When people buy houses and get mortgages, they don't just only pay the mortgage off in one go. You make a calculation, this is how much I can afford a month, and this comes out, this crap. Same with when you're renting a house. And for some weird reason, when it comes to things like this, they're like, why am I paying all that
Taking
back?
B.
Anything you do, having a student loan and getting help for all that kind of stuff is exactly the same as getting a contract out on your phone. You get it to pay over a course of a set period of time, not to do it all in one go. So I don't understand why, I don't get it. But again, I still think
Securing
education
C.
should be free. Like, the more educated people you have in the world, the better the society will be, the happier people will be, the better jobs there'll be. Like, why do you want to gatekeep education to such a degree where you're having to like, basically sell a lung in order to go to university? Like, I mean, and you might disagree with me and think I'm talking about my asshole, but if education was free and we had more funding for it, people would be happier. There'd be a lot more educated people here. Maybe we wouldn't have so many bigoted people in the world because they're not so bubbled in their little, like,
Losing Charlie.
small town, because they've actually learned a bit more.
Do you know, through all of your
Securing B.
ranting and your swearing and your shouting and your go down,
Enemy is
what
Charlie.
really comes through is you're like, I just want people to be
I just want people to be happy. Yeah, it's so
Is
stupid.
that soft? Do you really?
I am, yeah. The external says dive.
The internal says I love
No,
you.
just that. Don't get rid of the facade. People need to be scared of me. I need more comments being like, oh, it's too much for me. Then a screenshot and put it on my channel.
On that note,
On that note,
that was the last one.
Yeah.
How was that? Did you like that?
good.
I think that's a weird question. Did you like the
I
bigots?
enjoyed that, yeah. I find it interesting because I feel like when we do videos on your channel, there's a lot more actual discussions of like quite deep, meaningful things, where on mine it's more just chaotic, which I think is quite a nice balance because like, I don't feel like I've just done the same thing over and over again. It's a nice change because like, of course, what we're doing is just like actually quite horrific, but
Yeah.
like, it's a nice change. Sometimes I do ramble, but I actually feel like I have good points sometimes that like I don't tend to say on my channel because I'm like, don't see that tattoo, that's a swastika, it's stupid. Like, it's, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad you enjoyed the discussion.
Yeah.
I think you brought some good points.
Back in the game.
I hope some of it
House for an
made
onion.
sense. I do shout, yeah, buying house with onion and a radish. I do shout a bit and rant a bit, but I hope that thoughts get across.
They did to me.
Yeah, they
did to me.
You're used to my language at this
I am.
point, yeah.
Yeah, nearly.
Almost, yeah. There's some words you're like, oh, is that a joke or is that a
beginning
slur?
of your
Yeah.
video. Should I laugh?
Yeah, I actually said that I stand with Jake around. Justice for mine.
On that note. Oh, my stomach just shriveled like that. On that note, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Please go show Rolly some love. I left the link to his channel down below. Also, go watch the video we did together with
Commence
some
spy
very
plane mission.
entitled people who think they're the main character.
Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
very interesting.
Interesting,
Fun.
yeah.
Mhm.
Infuriating.
Infuriating.
Yeah.
That's a great word.
Yeah, and you'll be seeing us again very soon, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Tomorrow. This is our time now to join.
Forget Shaba. Shaba who?
Stupid, grow up.
As always, thank you so much for watching. Think about giving a thumbs up and subscribing if you want to give it a pressure. And I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.
Well.
Thanks for the work. Spy plane terminating over.
Spy plane splashed.
Tim James and Antonia Armato are the ones who wrote it over a decade ago. And after Britt Smith went viral, Page Six actually reached out to her, and she set the record straight once and for all, revealing that the internet was mostly right. JoJo didn't steal anything, but the song was originally written for Miley Cyrus before it became Brit's.
Now, From what I understand, you actually recorded this song back in 2012?
Yes, yeah, back in 2012. So it's a shock to me that it's got a new life, which is amazing. But yeah, with Rock Mafia back in the day, it was supposed to be my first single. Things changed and I went with Provocative instead, and shouldn't have done that really. We should have gone with Karma. That was my first choice, but label things got in the way and I kind of was led in that direction, and we went with Provocative, and then I left the industry after that. I went in with Rock Mafia to meet with them to write, and they played me Karma. And I heard it. They had said, oh, you know, this was actually, I think what they had said was this was written with Miley Cyrus in mind. But she had passed on it, I think. And so they said I could, you know, give it a shot recording it. And I did it, and they liked my version. And then because I was in talks with Timbaland at the time, we said, why don't we just start with this one? You can produce this, and then we'll do more together. And that's what happened. He produced that, and then we shot the video, and then so we shifted gears and went with Provocative, and then, yeah, Karma just sort of took a back seat at the time.
When all of these accusations of theft first exploded, I spoke to a dear friend of mine, Rod Kim, who's a very talented songwriter who spends his time writing songs for other artists and producing music tracks for your favorite social platforms.
I'm Rod Kim. By day, I'm a full-time songwriter here in Los Angeles. By night, I get high and talk about 90s music on TikTok.
Hey, does anybody remember that time the Backstreet Boys recorded I Want It That Way, but with lyrics that actually made sense?
So I'm gonna let him break down how all of this actually works.
So every song has a composition element and a sound recording element. Think of the composition element as the soul or essence of the song, the music, the lyrics, and like the intellectual property of it. And there's only one of these per song. The recording element is the actual audio you hear for a specific recording of a song. There can be an infinite amount of these, and that's how you get things like cover songs. When a songwriter writes a song, they have first recording rights, and that's exactly what it sounds like. They and any contractually involved publishers or labels have the right to choose who records and releases the first audio-only version of the song. After the song is officially released, anyone can record their version of the song by obtaining a compulsory mechanical license. And each of these audio-only recordings is what is known as the masters. So in this case,
one of the worst politicians in contemporary American history. She is literally a genuine burden to the causes that she is aligned with. She is her own worst enemy. Before we get to the Joe reacts to Lindsey Graham's latest political gesturing, propaganda is not education, says this asshole. Let's take a look at what this rabid psychopath has to say about Israel-Palestine. I like the pants. They are Carhartt, WIP collection, Carpenter jeans. So let's hear what this asshole has to say.
Everybody know what I'm about to talk to you about happened before October 7th. I'm going to talk about radicalism on college campuses. Sort of radicalism that has mainstream students getting propaganda, whether it's from their professors or whether it's from communist Chinese government through
How is this any different than literally Fox News? Is a question I am going to keep asking myself over and over again. How is Morning Joe any different?
TikTok calling the President of the United States Genocide Joe, calling you and President Clinton war criminals, actually stopping the naming of a building after Madeleine Albright because they claim, professors claim, some of the same professors that took part in the most radical elements of the protests over the past couple of weeks, called Madeleine Albright a war criminal. And we're still waiting for the building for Foreign Service to be renamed after Madeleine Albright. Here we have First Secretary of State.
Bro, what are you talking about? She's a war criminal who literally said 500,000 dead Iraqis as a consequence of sanctions that her husband put in place, by the way. Oh, you're literally talking to another war criminal ass psychopath about another war criminal ass psychopath. Madeleine Albright famously said 500,000 dead Iraqi children is just the cost of doing business. She was directly asked the sanctions that we are placing on Iraq The sanctions that we are placing on Iraq has led to 500,000 dead Iraqi children, to which her response was, that's the cost of doing business. Okay? He's asking a war criminal to defend another war criminal. Yup. For what it's worth, Hillary's been championing Zionist policy in Hasbro for decades. She zealously urged towards the Jerusalem embassy move in the 90s. You are correct. That is true. She did.
We have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And you know, is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it. Iraq's military...
We think the price is worth it. These demons are why I hope in my heart that maybe there is a hell and a heaven, and I hope that they are burning in eternal damnation.
Military threat to its neighbors is greatly diminished. Most of its missiles have been destroyed. Iraq's behavior and intentions must change before our policies can change. Otherwise, we will allow the scorpion that bit us once to bite us again. To those who ask how long our determination will last, how long we will oppose Iraqi intransigence, how long we will insist that the international community's standards be met, our answer is as long as it takes.
Of countries like what my microphone is off. There we are. What do you have to say about dictators of countries like Indonesia, who we sell weapons to, yet they are slaughtering people in East Timor? What do you have to say about Israel?
Yeah, by the way, practices that haven't really changed for the record.
Israel, who is slaughtering Palestinians, who impose martial law. What do you have to say about that? Those are our allies. Why do we sell weapons to these countries? Why do we support them? Why do we bomb Iraq when it commits similar problems?
There are various examples of things that are not right in this world, and the United States is trying... surprised that people feel that it is necessary to defend the rights of Saddam Hussein, when what we ought to be thinking about is how to make sure that he does not use weapons of mass destruction.
I'd like to...
Who are shouting? Just a moment.
I'm not defending them in the least. What I am saying is that there needs to be consistent application of U.S. foreign policy. We cannot support people who are committing the same violations because they are political allies. That is not acceptable. We cannot violate UN resolutions when it is convenient to us. You're not answering my question, Madam Albright.
Anyway.
Hey, this woman made history, just like you made history. But you've got...
Doing war crimes. Doing war crimes, Joe. Made history doing war crimes. We came, we saw, he died.
Mainstream college students, I know, because I've talked to a lot of college students over the past year or two. They have this radicalized view of the Middle East, a radicalized view of American public.
Why aren't these children just as rabidly Islamophobic as we are? What is going on? Why aren't these kids just as Islamophobic as we are? How are we losing sight of the expert propagandizing that we once were committed to? I don't know, man. Maybe because all of these kids that you're talking about were born after 9/11 and they didn't actually develop a consciousness in that time frame where they were also just as rabidly Islamophobic and just kind of saw that as like background noise, especially the many L's that America took post 9/11. Maybe that's the reason why they're not as feverish, you monster. Oh my God, I hate these scumbags so much. How do we get these kids to be just as racist, please? Hillary, please give me the take here. I need to understand.
Public servants like yourself, Madeleine Albright, President Clinton, Joe Biden.
Why are these children and these kids and these college students saying like relentless baby murder is not permissible? I hate that. We got to get this TikTok shit out of here.
Can name Republican presidents as well. And there's this radicalization. And I just want to know, first of all, it's distressing. What do we do about it so public servants aren't taught that American leaders are war criminals and that Joe Biden's not Genocide Joe?
He's literally mad that, like, younger generations have the correct view. All of these screechings of the media class about issues such as this one, by the way, are basically going against the spirit of democracy, right? They talk a big game about how they love free speech and how they love discourse and how discourse should thrive in a normal functioning democracy. And then they literally turn around and they're just mad that the kids are correct. Why are they calling our presidents war criminals? What happened? What happened to America? We used to be a nation. I don't know, bitch. Maybe you should give people something to be proud of, and then maybe they'll be more proud of America's accomplishments. It's ridiculous. Kids these days, the next generation and my generation as well, have nothing to look forward to. Why the should they be proud of America? For some, like, all we have seen in our development is endless and senseless death and destruction overseas, and the inevitable consequence of said senseless death and destruction. No money in the banana stand for healthcare, the roads, education, no public transit. Life is getting more and more costly, more expensive. No dream of being able to own a home or be able to retire at a reasonable age. No sense of autonomy. No sense of security. Why aren't these kids actually why aren't these kids dick riding America? They can get their burgers. It's like, dude, what the have you given us? What has your generation given us to be proud of? Nothing. Nothing. Why the should they be proud? You're mad that they're not dumbasses like your freak ass generation was. Why aren't these kids more lead poisoned like our generation is, and more aggressive and more violent and stupid? I can't believe it. I can't believe they're seeing the truth of the American project for what it is. Just a bunch of different corporations with imperial ambitions of global dominance that does not reflect positively in the in-group either.
Quite the opposite. And secondly, the stupidity of the slogans that ignore all the history since 1948 about what the United States has tried to do, about what you...
Yeah, this is funny. Why are the children saying war crimes are bad? Chinese communist propaganda. And not repeating State Department talking points, which of course is not propaganda.
Tried to do, about what President Clinton tried to do in bringing a two-state solution about. I remember when you talked about a two-state solution and it was considered radical. They couldn't believe, oh my God, Hillary Clinton actually is talking about a two-state solution. She hates Israel. And that,
by the way, what a question. 2 minutes and 27 seconds of Joe just sucking the dick of the American State Department. Hillary Clinton's dick as well. Hey, Kaya, come here. Kaya, come here. Baby, place. Place. Good baby. Good baby. I'll give you a gift.
Now, that's been flipped to you're a war criminal. Madeleine Albright's a war criminal. Bill Clinton's a war criminal. Joe Biden. It's disgusting. And I want you to tell us what needs to be done, what you would hope would be done, one. Number two, how do we get Madeleine Albright's name on that building? Because she's been slandered in death. She's been slandered in death. A public servant who escaped the Holocaust, gave her entire life to the United States of America, and has been slandered in death by extremists, I'm sorry, funded by Qatar. And number three, I told you we were moving past therapy session. And number three, maybe this will get on YouTube if the communist Chinese will allow it to get on YouTube. Please tell any students watching what President Clinton and you put together in 2000 in the
Dude. This is literally Morning Joe is just straight up Fox News, dude. Straight up Fox News. Isn't it wonderful that this is the one program that Joe Biden watches? just absolutely unhinged. China controls YouTube. Qatar controls the kids' minds because Al Jazeera. Holy bro, these are the same scumbags, okay, that will, in the inevitable turn when Donald Trump does become president of our glorious nation, okay, will turn around and be like, why are you guys doing conspiracy theories? Remember those ads from like early 2016, 2017, 2018, like New York Times would do ads like, this is an apple, but some people think it's an orange, but it's actually an apple. This is why truth matters. Meanwhile, this is what the liberal media has become under the Brandon regime. Remember, MSNBC is supposed to be the liberal version of Fox News, okay? Cuckold Joe, slobbing up Genocide Joe, and praising mass grave Madeline / atrocity Albright. It's ironic that Hillary's sitting there with Joe Scarborough, the former representative who voted to impeach her husband, Bill Clinton. You shouldn't have gotten that sloppy toppy. Misogynistic and anti-Semitic, huh? You have to try harder to get me to actually read your message and serve a 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour. You cannot come in here as a gray name and say misogynistic and anti-Semitic literally 5 minutes prior to the top of the hour, thinking that I'm not going to catch your bait and parry it back to you. Okay? Because at the top of the hour, we are no longer demanding weak baits. We want strong baits. Okay? Don't hit me with those two-parters, man. You can't do that. Yeah, I got the Iron Dome, baby. The way I'm deflecting. I got the Tamir Interceptors out today. Okay? I got the Tamir Interceptor rockets out today. Deflecting. Non-stop at the top of the hour. And if you want an Iron Dome style defense system against the 3-minute ad breaks at the top of the hour, all you need to do is subscribe. You don't need to, you know, give $10 billion every year to the apartheid regime like Barack Obama did, okay? Or no, $4 billion every year for 10 years like Barack Obama did. You can just do it for $5 a month or for free with a Twitch Prime or by getting gifted a sub if you're lucky. Yardley Fudge Rounds, thank you for the 5 gifted subs, allowing 5 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. The amount of hate in my heart that I have for these two figures is probably not good.
Oslo Accords. You gave the Palestinians a pathway to peace, and they were scared to take it because they knew they would be slaughtered by Hamas.
Wow. That's so funny that this ahistorical nonsense is still being repeated by Morning Joe, even though I've showed on this broadcast time and time again how hard he got owned by Zbigniew Brzezinski, his father-in-law, on this exact issue. I'm not going to do it again, as I've shown you time and time again. That's a 4-minute. That is 4 minutes of sloppy toppy gawk guac 3000 Suckmaster 11 that you just saw from Joe Scarborough. Okay, holy dude, that boy could suck the chrome out of the tailpipe. He's got a mouth that won't quit. He's got the spirit, dude. Hillary getting back at Bill with this incredible amount of public dome that she's receiving, maybe not in the Oval Office, but at least in front of many, many Americans on Morning Joe, including Joe Brandon. Certified throat goat. Yeah, shit's looking like the Oral Office right now. Joe would put Nancy Reagan to shame. Suck start a leaf blower. Yeah, that's a good one. Time out, big man. Dude, that was literally 4 minutes of the most unregulated, unrestricted dick suck session I've ever seen in my entire life. Holy moly. She said, wow. She's like, I'm out of words. I've never seen somebody suck me off this hard.
Oh, I don't know where to start, Joe, but you
go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
I need help.
Well, I want to make a couple of quick points because you raised, things that, need to be vented about. First of all, I have had many conversations, as you have had, with a lot of young people over the last many months now. And you're right. They don't know very much at all about the history of the...
Yeah, in the process of sucking their spinal cord fluid, okay, to ensure that me and my pedophilic vampire husband remain alive to see the continuation of the Israeli apartheid ethnic cleansing campaign. We were talking to them before we killed them and sucked the spinal fluid directly out of their spine, straight to the goddamn dome for that delicious adrenochrome. Talk to them.
The Middle East, or frankly about history in many areas of the world, including in our own country. But with respect to the Middle East, they don't know that under the bringing together of the Israelis and the Palestinians by my husband, the then Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, the then head of the Palestinian.
Literally cuts off a valid point that young people aren't doing their part in researching Israel-Palestine. Keep cooking, bro. Brother, every single thing that Joe Scarborough mentioned in his Guac Guac 3000 session has literally been dismantled apart, as I correctly pointed to, by Joe Scarborough's father-in-law on the Morning Joe program literally 20 years ago. What the hell are you talking about? Hillary's not making an important point here by saying many young people don't know what's going on about Israel-Palestine. No, dumbass. What she's saying there is if young people learn the talking points, perhaps then they could say that ongoing ethnic cleansing is actually complicated. Okay? That's it. It's not a complex situation morally. That's so cool that you think I'm like terrified of one of the worst politicians in contemporary American history. She is literally a genuine burden to the causes that she is aligned with. She is her own worst enemy. That's why I always laugh whenever the Democratic Party rolls her out to say anything, really. If Hillary Clinton came out against health care for all, okay, there would be probably more people pro Medicare for all than there currently are. She lost to Donald Trump. No, I'm not going to run the Brzezinski video one more time, okay?
Of the Israelis and the Palestinians by my husband, the then Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, the then head of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, then the Palestinian Authority, Yasser Arafat. An offer was made to the Palestinians for a state on 96% of the existing territory occupied by the Palestinians.
By the way, fun fact, eğer sıcaklarsa, soğuk değillerse koymana gerek yok yer yoksa. Bu arada gelmek üzere tavuk. Hatta şu anda geliyor. 2 dakika sonra.
Palestinians with 4% of Israel to be given to reach 100% of the amount of territory that was hoped for. And this offer was made, and if Yasser Arafat had accepted it, there would have been a Palestinian state now for about 24 years. It's one of the great tragedies of history that he was unable to say yes. My husband has a book coming out later this year, Joe, in which he talks about.
Don't think you're scared of arguing against her, but you don't think a significant amount of younger voters refusing to vote over Israel-Palestine is indicative of not understanding what someone like Trump would do in office? You and I do not see the world in the same exact ways. If you have this kind of attitude, you think that the Democratic Party is entitled to people's votes. I do not, because I actually understand how politics works. You, on the other hand, are a relentless dick rider of the Democratic Party who believes they are entitled to people's votes because of lesser evil voting. Whether I agree with lesser evil voting or not doesn't matter, because Americans demonstrably do not vote on lesser evil voting margins. They do not care about lesser evil voting. That is why the plurality in this country historically doesn't vote for either party. The plurality of eligible voters in this country does not vote for either party. Now, obviously, this is a more complicated situation than simply not having like a decent partner, a decent elected representative to vote for. However, that is a major part of the problem. If the Democratic Party genuinely made efforts to capture broader swaths of the voter-eligible population while simultaneously opening up easier ways of voting, right, against the Republican efforts to stop people from voting, especially poor people and young people, people of color in general, then perhaps they would have an easier time with these elections. They should have an easier time with elections. The problem on this issue, however, as far as like Israel-Palestine goes, and you are talking to someone who has, of course, laid a big amount of the blame in Trump administration's mishandling of Israel-Palestine, okay, especially for October 7, but one that also recognizes that we currently don't have Donald Trump in office. We currently have Joe Biden in office. And Joe Biden, perhaps also channeling that same exact idiotic sentiment that many Democratic wonks channel, that like people should of course vote for us. We're not bad as the other guys. Duh. You should do a little bit of reading, sweetie, and learn that like Trump would be so much worse. Don't recognize that Joe Biden is pretty awful right now, and he shouldn't be awful, just in an effort to show Americans that, yeah, it is actually different under a Democratic administration in comparison to a Republican one, because the very same bullshit that did happen under the Republican administration of Donald Trump, especially against like protesters that were taking it to the streets, hold on one second. Doors open. Doors open. Baba, geldi tavuk. Anyway, Joe Biden is repeating the exact same bullshit that the Trump administration Joe Biden is repeating the exact same bullshit that the Trump administration did in an effort to stop people from protesting against Israel right now. Peaceful protesters all around the country are getting brutalized by the police for the crime of peacefully declaring Israel an apartheid regime and criticizing our involvement in Israel's apartheid and also Israel's current ethnic cleansing campaign. The idea that voters are going to think critically beyond this and go, you know what, this administration that keeps telling me that like they are better than the Trump administration, that completely adopted the Trump administration's very own right-wing white nativist immigration policies, that also is engaging in the same kind of suppression of free speech and public demonstration, this time for the crime of saying we should not have, never again means never again, we should not have blood in our hands, Palestinian children's blood in our hands specifically. Why the fuck are we funding and facilitating this ethnic cleansing campaign? Those people getting violently and brutally suppressed by the police in a direct, baba, kapı, bence çıkamadı, şeyi söyle, botuna bassın. Yeah, those people should turn around and just simply vote for the Democratic Party, because like we promised that the Democratic Party is going to be better. Whoa, sorry, last thing, because I heard you say Joe Biden's office has the same immigration policies as Trump. Joe Biden, I don't know if you've been hiding under a rock or something, or maybe you came out of a coma literally yesterday, but Joe Biden pushed a right-wing white nativist immigration policy that would continue Donald Trump's wall, and also on top of that would give more than 20 billion, even more than 20 billion, I believe, but at least $20 billion to the Border Patrol to harden border security. Joe Biden was the one who was pushing that legislation, although it was, not exactly popular, and it actually hurt his chances against Donald Trump further by basically reaffirming Donald Trump's commitment to his anti-immigrant sentiment and justifying why he has such anti-immigrant sentiments to begin with. He did. Joe Biden's last Border Patrol bill that didn't pass through Congress as a consequence of Trump standing against it because he wants to use it as a political tool, directly would have contributed to the white nativist